Those are, you have to reappoint them every year, and it's the same, Charlotte Sunken, Ron Dickey, and Linda Middleton for a one-year term. As you do it, you'll need to waive the political party and assessor level requirements and have a vote on that, and then reappoint the 3 members.
So we need 2 different motions, correct?
That's up to you. If you want to waive it all and reappoint in one, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll do 2. However,
I don't have a problem either way.
I'd make the motion to waive the party requirement and to appoint the 3 existing members.
I'll second.
Reappoint 2.
and the assessor level requirement.
Assessor level requirements.
Okay.
And we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
The Democratic Party said it was okay, right? You reached out to them. They usually say yes to that.
I don't reach out to them. That's your guys' responsibility.
Okay.
But
I'm good. Yeah.
a year ago,
Yeah. Normally they have no problem
there's
with
not,
it.
yeah, they don't have anybody that can
Fill those spots.
fill those spots.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. Board of Health appointment.
Cheryl has we need to reappoint Dr. Vasquez for his board appointment for the next 4 years.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept Dr. Vasquez.
Yeah.
There we go. For a 4-year appointment to the Board of Health. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 3-0. Master Service Agreement.
This was the one that we had last time, and you guys wanted to look for further clarification on it. I don't know if Andrew wants to add anything in. I believe you approved it in December, around December 20th or 22nd.
Was that in the packet?
It was in the old news area.
I remember reading it, but
An old business, and it's under TUBFS.
Entertain a motion to accept the Master Service Agreement as presented.
So moved.
We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the contract as presented. Is there any other discussion? Anyone in the audience? Hearing nothing, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. O'clock yet, so we can take care of some of the discussion topics and action items. First one is payroll approval.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the payroll as presented. Is there any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried, 3-0. Number 2 is claims approval for December 2025 bookkeeping and payroll.
I'll make the motion to accept.
So this would be your normal accounts payable claims plus the accounts payable, or the payroll and bookkeeper claims for the month of December.
Okay.
So
Do I
it's
have
all
a
of them.
second? Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the claims, approval of the claims, including the December 2025 bookkeeper and payroll. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We're there, we'll do the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as presented. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. I think we can move down to the micro vote annual maintenance agreement.
This is a renewal for the Infinity voting system. It's an annual maintenance agreement that we need to do each year for the clerk's office, for their micro vote vendor.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the micro vote annual maintenance agreement as presented. Are there any questions or discussion?
I have reviewed it, and I didn't have any problem with it.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We have the December 2025 Treasurer's Monthly Report Acknowledgement. This is
the big blue sheet that the state says you have to say you. It's really what it is.
Yeah. I would entertain a motion to accept the monthly report as presented.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the December 2025 Treasurer's Monthly Report Acknowledgement as presented. Are there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We could probably jump down to the GAL contract approval, correct?
Sure.
That's all right?
This is a yearly contract for services with Corey Swager for circuit and superior courts. For their CHINS cases.
For their what?
CHINS cases, children in, child in need of services.
Thank you.
Make the motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the GAL contract as presented. Are there any other questions or discussion?
Andrew, you looked it over?
I looked it over, and I approved it.
Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Chris, You want to go early?
You didn't bring any warm weather back with you? You didn't bring your warm weather back with you? Thank you.
Our DeKalb 2040 plan is nearing its end. We're working on getting presentations for the Plan Commission. Just sent an email out this morning to commissioners and council regarding the public presentation and open house tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the DeKalb 2040 plan. There'll be a public presentation given to the Plan Commission about 5:30, and then an open house style where project staff will be there to answer questions or receive feedback from the public. That'll be just right after the Plan Commission Q&A, so I'm assuming it'll be 5:45, 6 o'clock, sometime there, and we'll stay for about an hour. It'll be down here in the courthouse rotunda. February 11th, which is what we're here for today, I'm hoping that we can get a presentation to the council. That wasn't part of the original contract. I feel like council, although they don't need to approve anything with the comprehensive plan, because of the generosity that they gave in the funds for us to move forward with this, I feel like it would be a good idea to have HWC come and prepare a 15, 20-minute presentation for the council, so they understand what's in the plan. And then the final date for adoption, hopefully, would be March 2nd before the commissioners. So the Plan Commission would give a recommendation to the commissioners, and then commissioners would have that final adoption vote on that. But anyway, what's before you today is a contract amendment with HWC to have their project staff come up and give a presentation to the county council. It's a lump sum fee of $3,500. On the back page of that shows what that would entail: a 10 to 15-minute presentation of the draft plan, and taking their questions as well. Would bring that new total agreement fee from $112,500 to $116,000. I do have money in the budget under consultant fees to pay for this. It's already been approved by council, so just need that approval from the commissioners to move forward with this amendment.
Is there any questions? Chris?
Yes, I guess I do have a question. Why we pay them $3,500 for 15 minutes of consultation?
Yeah, so they are in Indianapolis. They'd have to drive up, drive back, and then give the 15-minute presentation and then answer any questions the council has. It wasn't part of the original contract to have them do a presentation to council. It's not required by Indiana law. It's an adoption of the commissioners because it's a resolution plan. I just feel like council would gain some insight as to what they paid for with the plan, and having the HWC staff come up and help present that plan would be a benefit to the council.
Did the council have a member on that committee?
They did. Dave Yard was on that committee.
And why do we have to present it to the council again? Wouldn't that be his job to do that?
Theoretically, he could. I just think it would be good to have the HWC staff, who the council provided funds for, to come up and do that. That's all the reasoning is.
Any other comments or questions? Anyone from the audience? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to accept the contract as presented.
I agree with Bill. I think that seems a little high, Chris, at 35 for a trip up and a trip back for a 20-minute presentation. Are they be willing to negotiate that fee again? I mean, $3,500 for a trip up from Indianapolis and back.
Yep. I'd be happy to go call Rachel right now and see if I can get that lowered. Is there a number you're comfortable with?
Could I suggest, what about if they appeared online?
Do a Skype.
I don't know, just like an online Zoom, they have that capability there.
Yeah.
We've had consultants do that. It may not be as nice as live.
Okay. I can see what that would be.
Idea to make it cheaper.
I do know there'd be a fee because it wasn't included in the original contract, but I can see if they would be willing to do that. If you want to table this for a minute and I can go out and make a phone call.
Yep.
Okay, I'll be right back.
By consensus,
Chris, if you want to use my office, you can.
while we're waiting, I think we could jump down to the Polar Shield Agreement Vaccine Unit Maintenance Program.
Yeah, I have a question into Cheryl, just because the agreement that you all had her writing and notes on it. So I had asked if she could send me the one that had all those changes made, and I'm still waiting on that. So, but I know that Attorney Cruz has went through all of it and discussed the changes with Cheryl and approved it. So I don't.
Approved it with the new changes.
I sent her an email back on January 6th, whatever version I had reviewed. I said that I approved the contract and reminded her about the, terminate the contract to like not auto-renew. You have to do that at least 90 days ahead of the end. Basically what I have in my notes. Just beware of the automatic renewal if you don't want to do that.
So if you want to just pass that for now, then maybe they're getting into the office and they're going to respond to me. I don't know, and maybe I'd have it before the end of the meeting.
Okay. Mileage, jump down to the bottom one, mileage reimbursement rate.
Okay, so I sent you guys this mileage sheet with notes on it. I've had a department email me and tell me that our current policy is not correct, and because it states that we would receive reimbursement, or mileage reimbursement of the state plus 5 cents. So I went back through in March of 2022, and I even went back and listened to all these meetings. March of 2022, it is stated by the commissioners that the state was at 41 cents, and at that time, the commissioners went to 50 cents. So we were more than 5 cents over the 41 cents of the state. So then it was agreed that I would review every quarter. And so June of 2022, I brought it back because the state had went from 41 cents to 42 cents. And at that time, the commissioners voted to remain at the 50 cents per mile beginning July of 2022. Since then, the state has not changed.
When was that?
That was June of 22.
June of 20.
Yep, so at that meeting, they stayed at 50 cents. The state has not changed. At that time, when commissioners were approving all that, the 41 cents and 42 cents that had the average fuel costs between $3.06 and $3.50 per gallon. And that was the rate that they had went with. So we haven't revisited it because the state hasn't changed anything in their aspect unless you're wanting to change the average fuel cost that our reimbursement goes by. So from the motions, because you guys do set our policy, and so from the motions that were made, nobody's been under compensated for the per mileage rate from the motions and agreements that were set for the policy in 2022. So the question is are you wanting to change it from 50 cents? Do you want to choose to go within a different average fuel cost category? And if you do, which one? Are you keeping the additional 5 cents above state employees? Do you want that to stay in the policy? I don't know if you remember, if Bill remembers any. I know that it was adamant the 50 cents.
Yeah, I kind of remember the conversation, but it seemed like we had that ironed out at the time. I don't know if you were on board with that. Was that before you?
That was,
Before me, but I did listen to the snippet, Susan sent me the recordings, and it does say in June 2022, there was a vote of all three of you, and you all three, Mike, Todd, and Bill, agreed at 50 cents. That's what Susan heard, that's what I heard on there, and that seems to be the last word we think on it, was 50 cents.
Trying to track these gas prices like trying to track a rattlesnake. I guess I might suggest to go to 55 cents. I mean, gas hasn't come down a lot. Insurance has went up, obviously. Car prices have went up, obviously. Tires have went up. So maybe that would be my suggestion. I don't know if I'm ready to make a motion to that or not, but that
I
could
do
be.
have a question with that. So when you say 55 cents, are you referring to, okay. So if you say 55 cents, are you wanting 55 cents, period, not an additional 5 cents above the state?
No.
So would, like, on this average fuel cost, the 50 cents for the state is, range is $5.40 to $5.65 is the average fuel cost range. So then if we did 55 cents, then it would already be 5 cents more than what the state is doing. So we probably need to determine if we're gonna go by a range with a set price, or we're not gonna go by the range and we're just gonna say,
I think just a flat rate, because the fuel price, actually, the difference in fuel price is really a small percentage of the cost. So we start tracking the fuel cost, and it's really not a need, in my mind, to set a rate, and I think it should probably go up some from the 50 cents. But let's leave the fuel cost equation out of it. It's just not that. I mean, you want to get down to nickel and dimes, maybe yes, but I don't think we need to do that. And we can adjust it periodically, once a year, whatever we think we need to do.
so would you also suggest that the policy be changed so it's stated, I don't know how you would state that, the commissioners.
The policy is just to choose a reimbursement rate that will be revisited, not directly pegged to the state rate. Or something like that. Is that what, I think what you're looking for to clear things up?
Something so that this 5 cents above the state employee thing doesn't end up causing another issue in a year or so.
I would make the motion to take that requirement out of it, eliminate that requirement, and set a flat rate of 55 cents. I'll make that motion.
Would that, excuse me, would that motion include to be something to the effect to be revisited yearly.
Yes, revisit yearly. I think that'd be appropriate.
That part's probably still in there, or,
In the policy, there wasn't a revisit time in the policy. In June of '22, it just said that they, would reevaluate it quarterly, and nothing had changed, so we just hadn't revisited it.
For those in the public that wondering why we are going above the state average, I will remind everybody the federal average is something like 65 cents.
It's high.
It's high. So we're kind of hitting something in the middle here, and the state kind of, I don't know why they're where they're at. I won't try to answer that, but federal is quite a bit higher.
we have a motion to, and I'll let Susan read back the language when she gets caught up here before we move forward. Basically go to a flat rate of 55 cents per mile with the stipulation that it should be revisited yearly.
Okay.
And strict the language.
So I have that bill motion to eliminate the additional 5 cents above the state rate from the policy, and to reimburse the county, in the county at 55 cents per mile, and we'll revisit annually.
Sounds good. I'll make that. Yeah.
What's the rest of the policy state? That's just gonna be the policy then, that all, that?
The current policy says employees who use personal vehicles for authorized travel in the course of conducting county business shall receive mileage reimbursement at a rate equivalent to that received by state employees plus 5 cents, not to exceed the federal mileage rate, and is subject to change. The current mileage reimbursement rate can be obtained from the auditor's office. So it would say all that, so you'd be on county business, you shall receive reimbursement at a flat rate of 55 cents as approved by the county commissioners, and will be revisited annually.
Are you okay with table and making sure we have that policy all written out properly and then we'll vote on it in 2 weeks? I agree with you. I'm fine with it. I just want to see it all, since we're kind of changing the policy around and taking things out and putting things in. Would you be okay with that, waiting 2 weeks and then?
I can give you the policy in like 5 minutes.
Okay, if you don't mind, I just want to be able to see the whole policy and make sure we're not missing something on it real quick, if you don't mind.
Table that.
Okay, thank you, Susan.
Sir Chris.
Royalty. Because they're going to be doing it virtually, they'll just do it and not charge the county for it. So I'll just do that virtually on the 11th, so you can tear up your contract. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris, appreciate that.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Real quick while I'm typing this, I don't know if Bill asked that we put this picture up here. I didn't know if he wanted to say anything, and I don't have it listed. So I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah.
For the moment, though, you want to rescind your motion and just until we get it back in writing, if that's okay?
Yeah, I'll rescind it.
Okay, thank you. And then, so Commissioner Hartman,
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't shine on that thing though, does it? What we have here is the Spencerville Covered Bridge, and we have installed a new roof on that. And we also installed the white fascia board along the eave sides. That was an addition to, and that was to cover those rafter ends that were exposed to the weather and really weren't very attractive. So anyway, it's got a new, it looks like shingles, but it's actually stone-coated steel. So it's probably a 100-year roof. And they've got to do the little little awnings down there yet, but they had to figure out a way to get to them because the scaffolding they used to do the roof was up above those little awnings. They do have the north awning done. I've seen a picture of it. Really looks nice. They got the south one to finish up. Anyway, it's, that was quite an undertaking, and it's done, and we're good to go with that bridge for many, many years now. Got a new floor, got a new roof, and it's got new substructure on the east end. So it's all done and good to have behind us.
Thank you. Now, if we can keep the semi-trucks out of it.
I can keep the semis out, the GPSs, be all set.
Thank you. Chris, did you have anything else? Oh. Want to make sure. Ms. Miller, a little bit ahead of time, if you're ready.
Unfortunately, we're not because Apex isn't here yet. We weren't supposed to be on until 9:15, so not quite. So I guess you guys can move on to something else because I'm not sure that we have anything that we can take care of in 14 minutes.
Sure. Okay. Just asking. Sunny Meadows Insurance. Insurance.
That was more of
Yes, okay. So regarding Sunny Meadows, we've got notice of insurance non-renewal, which since we don't have any current residents or employees, basically they're full-time, other than perhaps clean out things or dealing with the building. We don't need the same level of insurance going forward on things such as, I think it was like medical professional and basically sexual molestation and that sort of coverage. The problem comes when the insurance policy is a claims-made policy. That's what Kyle Pearson with Insurance Trustees has explained to me, which means that if anyone makes a claim for something to happen, for example, in 2025, hopefully nothing happened where a claim would arise, but if someone says, hey, somebody hurt me, or I got hurt, or whatever, and they make that claim in July of this year, July of 2026, we won't have any insurance coverage to cover the claim, unless we buy extended coverage. Extended coverage is not necessarily cheap, but they are required to offer it when they end their policy. I would recommend having extended coverage in place because lawsuits can happen at least up to 2 years from the date of the event. There's a law, a statute that limits how long you can wait to file a lawsuit. And for most things, it's 2 years. Called a statute of limitations. There are exceptions to that. Fraud is 6 years. Some contracts are like 10 years. But the basic liability you want to protect yourself from is basically 2 years. If something involves children, it can be 2 years after they turn 18, but I don't know that there were no children necessarily living there, at least as far as the residents. So my recommendation is to strongly consider, you don't have to make that decision today, you just have to decide it. I would recommend deciding on the extended coverage before our coverage ends in May. So you don't have to decide necessarily today. You might even want to bring in Kyle Pearson just to do a little 10-minute discussion of the risk and what his recommendations But since lawsuits can happen a long time, I've seen a lawsuit get filed basically within the last few days before the 2 years were up. So that can happen. Doesn't happen frequently, but it can happen. And we would not be covered by insurance. I don't know if you guys have any questions based on that.
I think it's something we should really consider doing, just to be on the safe side. I don't know what the cost is, so I would like to talk to Kyle about it, but.
You would like to talk to Kyle?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea to give you guys a level of comfort going forward on that.
Yeah, since we got it some time,
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree.
I suggest then that we put it under old business.
You want me to email Kyle and just say we request that he reach out to Susan
That
for a
would be-
time or something?
It'd be very nice.
Susan? Okay, I'll do that. I'll email him right now.
Okay. Put that under old business for the next meeting.
If he can come at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, or if
Otherwise,
not, we
I can
still
do it
have
later.
time. He can
And what's the
come.
next meeting date?
February 2nd. February 2nd.
All right, thanks.
You good?
I'm good.
Have the rewritten policy there for the mileage reimbursement rate.
I'm good.
I'll make that motion then to set a base rate or basic rate of 55 cents per mile.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the new language for personal vehicle travel, basically at 55 cents per mile, and to be revisited annually. Is there any questions or discussion? Anyone from the audience? Yes.
I just thought of, in that motion to change that policy, would you add to be effective as of, like, today, January 20th?
Yes.
Second that.
Okay, we have an amended motion on the floor. Second. Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0.
Thank you.
Is that good? Thank you.
The other thing that I handed out was that Polar Shield service agreement for the health department that I had said I was waiting on.
Oh,
Right below GAL contract.
there it is. I'd like to revisit the Polar Shield agreement, the vaccine unit maintenance program. You have the service agreement in front of you. I would entertain a motion to accept it.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Polar Shield service agreement as presented. Are there any other questions or discussion? Any, I'm sorry.
You got a copy of this, Andrew?
I did, and the only thing that I had was that on the copy that I had reviewed, there was there's like an 8-page terms and conditions, and the only issue I had was, and it wasn't really an issue against the contract, it was make sure if you don't want to renew it, cancel it more than 90 days. So I'm okay with it.
On the service part on this one, it says preventative maintenance twice a year, repairs, and any visits, requested visits that are needed during the duration is 5 visits per contract. So if there's repairs, they're only gonna pay up to 5 times to repair it? Is that what my understanding is?
Uh,
Maintenance twice a year.
Preventative maintenance, any requests for visits, training, or consultation are up to 5 visits. As far as,
I mean, I'm just trying to understand that sentence. It seems
Right.
kind of awkward.
I don't know that it really says,
As we do repairs.
right, I mean, it could, visits is a little bit ambiguous because they define it, for example, as training or consultation. They don't say or repair there.
Maintenance is twice a
But
year.
they're required to do repairs, and the repairs comes, I guess I would argue that repairs is unlimited and requests for visits are limited for training
Five.
are
Okay,
5.
I
That's
just
how
wanna
I
double
would
check.
view that initially.
Because it says maintenance 2 years, and then it just puts repairs in commas, and then it has any requests up to 5 times. So I was just.
Right, I
repairs are
guess I would
unlimited.
say that any requests for visits that are needed during the duration for a total of up to 5 visits for contact, it's a little ambiguous there. I mean, I don't know that there'll be more than 5 repair needs during the year. but
Just in case
never
there is, I don't want to have it.
So,
But there is more than the two, though. Will there be an additional charge? I didn't say that there is, but I don't understand why it makes that second.
I think the 2 was
Just
just
the
the
maintenance.
preventative maintenance, and then the other 5. So it could potentially be here 7 times.
Could be 7, okay.
Okay, I
Because
just
if they
didn't
come for
know.
preventative maintenance, I mean, they could find something and,
That makes sense. Find something.
A
to
little
come back.
ambiguous, they could have worded it better. I mean,
Yeah.
Good?
did we vote?
No,
Okay.
no.
It's like, I have 2 names here. Okay.
In a second. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried, 3-0. Okay,
If you don't mind, if you want to email them and just kind of clear that up on the repairs.
okay.
Just that way we have it in writing, that way if it ever comes into a problem.
Email that company or the health department?
Company problem.
Yeah, just have the company.
I think it's
If you don't mind,
at the
Andrew.
bottom. But
That way we just have it on an email that states otherwise. Clear it up.
hey, Miss Miller, it's 9:15, but you still want to wait? Okay.
You want to do some signatures?
Sure.
Okay. These I'll start down with Kellen because these are for. Shocking. Oh, just,
Be strong.
I know. What I get for running around. It's different than what you sent us? Okay. So the sheet that I had at your chairs this morning, I guess, is not the information you want.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, why don't we go ahead? Let's get started talking about the wellness incentive that we've been talking about for quite a while, but we have some real figures for you guys to look at. The information that I sent you to review over the weekend, all the numbers are correct. It was just a formatting issue and a couple of dates that that Lauren wanted to update. So the ones that we handed out this morning are the most current and the brightest. So I think, first of all, let's look at, so that you have some foundational information, we'll look at the current eligibility, and you will find that on the top. In the title, it will say DeKalb County Government, and then 2026-27 proposed wellness incentives, current eligibility, and now I will turn it over to Lauren from Apex.
Thank you, guys. So this is just an overview of what we have currently, which is the top box in the gold. It shows, in the first column, it just shows the headers. So these are the different tiers of the plan: employee only, employee spouse, employee child, and family. Do you see those letters? Okay, perfect. The second column is the actual enrollment in those plans. So the first plan is the PPO, and that shows how many employees are enrolled in that tier. So it shows 94 employees for employee only. For family, it shows 15, for example, but that's 15 employees, so the number would be higher. The tier after that is incentive qualified employees. So this is all of the employees that completed the wellness activities for the 2025-2026 plan year. And then what they have per pay. So that's $50 per incentive eligible employee. The spouses don't have a different incentive currently, it's combined. So that's not applicable. And then it shows monthly what you are paying for those PPO employees. The next is the HDHP or HSA account. It has your actual enrollment, who qualified for the incentive, and then what they're getting per pay, so then monthly. Annually, the wellness spend is $167,700. So that's what we're looking at for your current. The next three boxes have different options for how you can proceed with the 2026-2027 wellness plan if you do determine that you want to keep that in place. Option 1 shows $25 per pay for employees and $25 per pay for qualified spouses. So you can see that this has since this whole page is current eligibility, all of these options show if the exact same number of people qualify for the wellness plan for the upcoming year, what the cost would be. So since you're lowering the spouse amount per pay, but you're you're lowering in the employee amount per pay, but you're adding in the spouse incentive, the dollar amount's quite a bit lower with the $25 per pay. So it's more like $50 a month for employees and spouses. The annual total of that would be just over $100,000. So a almost 40% savings or $67,000 savings annually. Option 2 is if you left the employee amount at $50 per pay as an incentive, and the spouse is now eligible for their own incentive of $25. So that would be $184,600 annually, or a just over 9% increase from current spend. And then option 3 is if we left it $50 for the employee and the spouse was also eligible for their own $50 incentive. So that is $201,500 annually, or a just about 17% increase from current. The other handout is a best case scenario if every employee and every single spouse took advantage of the incentive for those same levels. So I would say in general, we do expect year 2 to go up a little bit. People realize, you know, we want that incentive. We're seeing other employees who qualified for it have lower premiums. So we would expect that to go up a little bit, but not, you know, not in an inflationary amount, probably just another handful of people who qualify. And then spouses now are eligible to qualify for their own amount, which keeps us compliant in the wellness world. And so depending on how much the incentive is, you can see accordingly how that would fall out in those tiers if every single employee and every single spouse qualified. So that's more for reference than anything. It will be much, much closer to current eligibility. Any questions or
Need any more details? Any more enhancements?
I have a suggestion.
Sure.
Option number 1, I kind of like that, except I think we're cutting the EE down too much. I was thinking maybe more like splitting that difference, 3750 or 3750 for the EE, and then 25 for the spouse. A thought.
You're saying have it to be $37.50 incentive pay for the employee only,
Yes,
and employee spouse would have 25 and 25?
right.
So it has to be consistent across the board, what the employee would qualify for and what the spouse would qualify for. So if you changed employee only to $37.50, then all the other tiers of employees would need to be able to qualify for that same amount. That doesn't mean when it comes time to adjust employee premium for the actual base amount of what they're getting the discount off of, we can absolutely adjust those to give, you know, employee only or maybe employee child a little bit less of a premium burden. We can do that at the time of adjusting the actual premium, but the incentive is what has to be consistent.
Well, then that leads to the next question. Down on option 2, incentive for the EE is 50, for the
Yep.
spouse is 25.
So those can be different dollar amounts. They just have to be the same across the board. So you could make the spouse, you know, 500. Well, don't do that. But and the employee a different amount. It has to be, the employees all have to be eligible for the same incentive and the spouse is eligible for the same amount. They can be separate, but they have to be the same across that tier.
So in your scenario, all the employees would be at the $37.50, but then we could have the spouse at 25. They all just have to be consistent in each group. So if somebody were on the family plan, the employee would be at $37.50 and the spouse would be at 25, if that were the scenario that you show.
I guess I don't understand why, at first, when he suggested that, you said that can't be, different. I guess I don't understand how that can't be, but the 50 and 25 can be.
The employee has to all be the same.
But
The
isn't that what,
spouse has to be all the same.
but that's what he said.
Right.
The 3750 employee, I know, but
For every category,
Didn't-
3750.
He wanted an employee,
Only.
Yeah, only.
only to be
Yeah.
different.
Not necessarily.
I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
That's how I took it too, okay.
Yeah.
we knew, yeah.
Said it wrong, but meant,
No,
So-
we get it.
You meant
We get it,
3750
yeah.
all the way across the
oh,
board.
yeah, all the way down.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
all the way down, yep.
In that case, if I did drag that down, the 3750 for employee only, it would put you at just over 130,000, so 13650 for your annual amount, and then that's a 22% decrease from current.
That increase at what, 36,000 you said? From the 100,000? Yeah.
How much?
13650 is the annual amount. A decrease of 37,000, yes. Thanks, Kellen.
But then I guess the next question is, if that's theoretically 3750, for the employee, and then we start with the basically the 25 for the spouse, that number would go right back, or does that, are you including the $25 in that one?
That's included, yeah,
Oh,
of
it
the
does-
spouse.
It does include?
Yes.
Okay.
There are many fewer spouses that qualify, and just a lot fewer spouses that you have on the plans. So the spouse incentive amount is not going to make your total dollar fluctuate as much as the employee amount will, just because there's a lot more volume there.
Are there any other questions or comments from the commissioners?
I guess the 3750, that would be negotiable, of course. If, you know, I'm just throwing a number out there to split the difference, but maybe that's not the right number either. But somewhere in that range.
Sorry, guys, one correction on the 3750. I didn't update the HSA amount, so I just did the PPO. So that is actually, the 3750 for employee only would bring the total to 142,675, which is a $25,000 decrease from current. Sorry for that.
say that again, 142,675.
Yes, ma'am.
And then what was the next one?
The next one was a $25,025 decrease from your current spend.
Thank you.
Yep.
So if we went with, trying to do some quick math here, but we went with the 50, option 2, it would increase from the 167,700 to the 184,600, right?
Yep, an increase of 16,900.
15,000,
16,900
16,000.
over current annually, yep.
Okay.
Where we at $40? Go even dollars, see where we're at, $40.
Round it up to 40.
Got you.
All right.
On both columns this time. That puts us at $151,060 annually, 16,640 under current.
151.
151,060. Yep.
How many pay periods do we have, Susan, again? 50?
6. You said pay periods, right?
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to talk about this subject?
So right now, it's $50 for the employee, the spouse gets nothing, right?
Correct.
But they're still required to do it, and that's the issue?
Correct.
Because we can't require them. So can we leave it the same and just take the spouse requirement out? I know they say the spouses are the biggest
Yeah.
claimants or whatever, but the wellness isn't gonna stop that.
Yeah.
You go to the doctor and they just tell you you're unhealthy. It's not gonna change.
Yeah, so.
Ultimately,
Yeah, so the whole purpose of including a spouse incentive is to try to engage the spouse. Obviously, we can't force anyone to do anything, but the incentive maybe, you know, gets them to go to the doctor and run those numbers. I was with a group of your employees and they were joking that, you know, nothing was wrong with them until they did this wellness, like, you know, they did this wellness program. Now all of them have something wrong with them. But they're getting treatment for those things. So all we can do is bring awareness to it. We can't force people to get treatment, but catching any of those conditions, any of those chronic conditions that we can manage will help keep the claims down, which helps keep premiums down for everybody, helps keep everyone, you know, healthier and the plan running better. So if possible, I think it is important to engage the spouses and increase that incentive or give them some type of incentive while letting the employees independently be able to qualify for their own as well. So that's kind of the thought process behind that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
I just have one thing that I think a lot of employees are going to be saying, you give it to us, now you're going to take it away. You're going to cut it so you can bring in a smaller group. Doesn't go clear across the board. I think employees, those are the ones you need to really, really have benefits for. They're the ones that keep the county going. Yes, I understand what you're saying about giving spouses incentive, but now the employees are saying, what's the incentive? So, just a thought.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public? Thank you for those comments. Appreciate it. Any other comments or suggestions? You want to move forward with this? We put it off for quite a while, or do you, or I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to stick with this present scenario, the present numbers that we have,
$40?
50.
We can't.
Yeah, we actually have to make the spouses be able to qualify for their own incentive amount. Having both going towards the one incentive is going to be non-compliant for the upcoming year. Sorry.
Then I'll stick with the original $40.
With 25 for the spouses?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I can second that. We can play with the premiums later, correct?
Absolutely.
And that way we can decrease the premiums to offset the $10 difference later on to kind of keep it kind of fair a little bit. But that's a discussion for later, so something I'd be interested in.
Yeah. I think that's a
But
great
that's not part of
strategy.
this conversation today, but I think offsetting the premiums for the employee-only, employee-child, since they're the ones not getting that extra $25 off, would be something to look into. And I'll play with those numbers with you, Lauren.
Yeah, absolutely. And to note also on the employee spouse and on the family tier, with this new plan, those two tiers will actually get more of an incentive than they have currently, just as a note.
Sorry.
Say that again?
Yeah.
So currently, if you're on employee spouse or if you're on the family tier and you both did the wellness activities, you're only getting $50 per pay. So with this new plan, you'll get the 40 for the employee plus the 25 for the spouse, so you'll actually get a larger incentive than you did this year.
We'll get 65. That's why I want to
Yeah.
play with the premiums for the
Yep.
employee-only, employee-child.
Employee
to help
child.
offset that increase that the employee family, employee spouse have.
Yeah.
You good?
As a possibility.
As a possibility,
just
as a
don't-
discussion.
As a
I don't
discussion.
want anybody coming back and saying, well, Kellen said that they were gonna offset the premiums, because nobody knows how much
The premiums are gonna be, yes.
the increase is gonna be for the county.
Andrew, do you have any comments?
I guess I agree with what, from what I understand from Apex, that makes perfect sense to me that they would have a requirement that we have to have a separate premium for the spouse, separate opportunity there. So I agree with that. I would say that the wellness program itself, I don't have any legal issue with it one way or the other. Just personally and anecdotally, it helped me go to the doctor and get diagnosed with something that I could do something about health-wise, eat better, exercise more, and have it taken care of. So it helped me. But that's just my own personal anecdote.
Yeah, and we got that feedback during open enrollment that it wasn't just you, so that's great feedback.
Any other questions or comments? My own comment is that I consider it as a two-way street, that the employee has to do their part to help keep our premiums down as a self-insured. Everybody has to work together. We work together, we can keep it down to about, what, 15% of what it was 2 years ago, which is tremendous. So apparently the wellness program is working. We as the county should do everything we can, and the employees should do everything they can to make this program work for everyone. That's just my personal comment. We have a motion and a second to accept, and help me make sure I get this right, to do a $40 incentive for the employee and a $25 incentive for the spouse. Per pay period, yes.
And just to clarify, I guess, I was thinking about that, I think maybe you or somebody had brought up the family side of it too. We don't have to worry about family or children, just the spouse for
Correct.
now.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify
Yep.
that.
And that this is for plan year 26, 27, so going forward.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no other comments, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Passes 2-1. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That was the big thing that we wanted to talk about during HR's time. I know that there are a couple other things that we'll be talking about during the miscellaneous, so we'll be back for that, I'm sure.
Just hold on for a second. Okay. BCA is not coming.
Correct.
If you have, I mean, our 9:45 appointment is not coming today. If you're prepared.
Well, you know what? We don't have a lot of hiring going on. So Morgan, why don't you just talk a little bit about any recruiting or the onboarding that we have coming up?
We are looking for a full-time night shift residential facility officer for community corrections. Today, we are onboarding the new full-time dispatcher. She'll be starting early February, and also onboarding a new attorney for the public defender's office.
Okay, thank you.
We have a few other things going on. We are still working through any issues that we may still have ongoing with steel benefit systems, but those are fewer and fewer every day. Lincoln got back to us last week with information that we are grandfathering in some of the life insurance, the voluntary life insurance policies that had been over and above what Lincoln would have written And so those employees are being grandfathered in, so they're going to be able to keep those policies in force at the level, the monetary level that they were. So that was great communication, great coordination, I should say, between Steele and Lincoln. So that is good. And we are also kind of testing the online enrollment for our new hires with the plan. And we've only had just a couple, and yeah, you know, it's a beta thing. So, you know, you work through it and make sure that all the bugs are out. We really want to make sure that we have all those bugs worked out prior to open enrollment of the health plan, you know, which we're talking about today. I know that, speaking of the health plan, Apex will get us the forms that we will need to provide to all of our employees, and we will put out an announcement very soon to all of our employees that if they would like to participate in the wellness plan, that they have time to go to their doctor, get their blood work done, the same procedure that we had last time, and then that way they'll be qualified for plan year 26-27. So that's kind of the things that we're working on. Yeah, you're welcome.
9:45 appointment is not going to be present.
Can we do the Sunny Meadows Committee?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yep, we can do it. Sunny Meadows Committee discussion.
Okay, first thing up, we have 6 members, well, 5 members officially appointed. The 1 member is a county council member, and it was brought to our attention by Jim that I would need to be appointed by the council. Is that so, Andrew? Do you have any? I think it's correct, but I'm not.
I'm not sure. I had not heard one way or the other. That may well be the case. I don't know the law on that in particular.
That's fine. I'll make one of my appointments be a council representative. I'll ask them to choose who they want to have on that. I think it's very important to have a council member on that committee.
It probably shows nice deference to them to ask them who they want.
Yep. So I'll just leave one of my spots open for that.
Okay. So we have Chuck Knox, Zebulon Griggs, Chris Kraft. Well, Chris Kraft would be optional. That'd be the council, maybe. Teresa Hallett, Larry Lane, and Cindy Fogelson. I would make the motion we accept except the 5, except Chris Kraft, and that would be optional for the council to approve or to appoint.
Can you
That work?
give me those names?
Chuck Knox,
Okay.
Zebulon Griggs, that's Zebulon, I believe that's right. Griggs, Griggs. Chris Kraft.
Nope.
Nope, no Chris Kraft.
Okay.
Teresa Allert, Larry Lane, and Cindy Fogelson. I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the committee as presented with the council making their own recommendation to this committee. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Are you going to go to the council and ask for their recommendation? Okay.
I'll do it. I'll do that.
The 2025 Emergency Management Report, that is just an annual report that he gives, and you just need to acknowledge receipt of it for our minutes.
I'll make the motion to acknowledge.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the emergency management report acknowledgement as presented. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. I have one more item. Timekeeping system. Go till 10 o'clock and take a break at 10 o'clock, so, but we can have that discussion. Commissioners, is there any comments or questions?
I have a couple comments. I guess I have I actually have some questions. And the first question I'll ask, what was IT's recommendation to the commissioners prior to signing this contract? Was there any recommendation by IT or BESA? I don't recall any. That's why I'm asking.
No.
There wasn't. Okay. Was, I guess that leads to the next question. Was HR brought on board before it was implemented? In other words, I thought, reading that, it seemed like there need to be changes in the handbook as far as the requirements for punching in, clocking in, and clocking out. Was IT brought on board in that discussion?
So when everything started with the online virtual communications that we had, I had invites to HR and IT. HR has been on many of them, and she had sent messages back and forth with, I don't remember if Cruz was in it or not, but on what we may need to do with the handbook, because it will change to kind of like what Central and Community Corrections do.
What do they do?
They use a different timekeeping system.
That's, okay, that was another, that comes to the next question. Do department heads have any input as to what will work for their departments? In other words, it seems like highway, courts, jail, community corrections are all different.
One second here. No, the timekeeping system is the basis of my office because it has to do with the payroll system. We've had right stuff with 2 departments for a multitude of years with a whole host of continuing issues. There's only a couple that the counties use, and at one time, the Lao financial system and payroll system that we use, they did not have the capabilities to do a timekeeping system. They have worked on and they have implemented this new system, not new, but worked on the attendance on demand system that can correlate and connect with our Lao system so that the information goes through both systems seamlessly to be able to process the payroll, which all of this will eliminate all the paper timesheets that we currently have and bring us up into the current century. The council has been wanting a timekeeping system for the entire county since probably like 2019 that we have been working on. I held my feet on Right Stuff, which is who the 2 departments have right now, because the problems and issues are insane and the communication is not good. And so I was not going to do an entire county, all departments on a system that is not working.
I guess the last comment I have is I would like to see that contract and have Andrew investigate the options to terminate.
I can get you the contract.
I think I viewed it at one point. Can't remember
I don't, council may need to be involved, I don't know, because they're wanting the timekeeping system.
I tried to do, excuse me, my own investigation into this, and apparently, with the knowledge that I was told, this timekeeping system started with the county council. It did not start with the commissioners, and at least 3.5 years ago, I was kind of caught off guard because I didn't know anything about a time system from the council. But, so I believe with the history here of, it's been, what, 3.5 years trying to get this implemented, and I still need to, I guess, get more research for myself so I can understand this. But myself, I believe the council should be, since they're the ones that initiated it, obviously we want to do what is right, but at this point, I believe, and I'm not speaking for Commissioner Dooley, but for myself, it's like we're trying to figure something out that was before our time. So at this point, I will allow anybody in the audience that wishes to speak on this matter. No one?
I sent a letter to both county commissioners and council. We're not against it. We're not against having a timekeeping system. We just would like to have more time to learn it. We haven't had enough time. It would improve a lot of things. It would track a lot of things. There was just some things, we don't have comp time, and in the training session, it talked about comp time. The 6 minutes, giving people 6 minutes to clock in. When you're trying to impress upon your employees to be there and working when they're supposed to, and they got 6 minutes to play with, doesn't help. Doesn't help get your employee, because they can look at you and say, I have 6 minutes. Same way with clocking out. They clock out 6 minutes ahead. They're in there as, we're open till 4:30. We are to be open at 8:30. Some it's 8 and 4. It doesn't help with that. But as far as keeping a time system, I have no problem with the time system. Most of us don't need time clocks, but a time system is not a problem. We just want more time to learn it before we actually go live. At least that's my office's biggest concern, is being able to know how it works.
So my only issue with it would be, I have 5 of us in my office that have state emails on top of county. And this system, for some reason being Microsoft, wants us to use our state email. We cannot do that.
You don't have to.
I tried a roundabout. I'm still struggling. But that's more my biggest issue, is just there are some of us tied with the state, and it makes us want to use that. So I'm again. I'm sorry, what?
You're on board with it? You just want more time?
Oh, absolutely, I'm on board with it. But yeah, we need more workarounds, I feel like, for certain ones of us. Title 4D probably has the same issue. They have state emails as well as us. So Microsoft does not play well with other, systems, and it's forcing us to, I know you said there's a workaround, but it manually wants us to go there automatically, and we can't use our state IDs for that. So.
Thank you.
Morning, my name is Michelle, and I am with the Title 40 office. I also want to expand with Dana. We too have state email addresses that work with Microsoft. We're already doing authenticators. It is causing a bigger issue for us. A concern for me is the GPS tracking of employees. Is that going to be something that gets tracked everywhere when they clock in and out? Just basic questions. Some people are concerned they're going to be tracked on and off the clock. We did have an individual who got the link to his personal email, so we couldn't even set up the timekeeping on the county email or county site, this county computer. I had an individual who tried the clocking in and out on their phone. It said that she was out of range and she was inside the Title 40 office, but outside my office. She wasn't at her specific desk. Who gets to choose the parameters? Who gets to choose the GPS tracking? I need more information. I am totally for some sort of timekeeping system. This one just has a lot of questions and we need a lot more hands-on training, please.
Thank you.
I would agree. I have an issue with an attendance keeping system or a timekeeping system. I just think we need more training. We need to know what we're doing because the hour and 45-minute training we got the other day was very confusing, very hard to follow. It was the first time a lot of us had seen the system. So I just ask that we hold off on implementing anything for the time being until we're properly trained.
Thank you.
Unless Tyler has something that he would like to say about the surveyor's office. I would like to say that the comments that HR is getting from department heads and employees is that they are for a timekeeping system. Part of the problem, though, what I see is the vendor has not been able to do enough foundational information with each and every department. If you will take a look, we do have certain departments that are similar. You have offices who come in at 8 or 8:30 and they take a lunch and then they leave at 4 or 4:30 and there's no deviation to it. You have somebody like the surveyor's office and they have field inspectors who are out in the field and may not be available for a clocking in, clocking out system. I don't believe that, as I said, the vendor has had enough time to discuss with each and every department their uniqueness. And I will go back to when Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy worked on the job descriptions, and I know you weren't here, and they came in and talked to each and every department head and had a conversation about, what does the department do? How do you do it? Why do you do it? How can it be changed? That sort of thing. Or what do we need to do differently? And how can we help you with your job descriptions? And then they were open to having outside of that time frame meetings. And I really think that we need more foundational things so that these questions can be answered before we get into the training part of it. And so I think step back is really what I am hearing from our department heads.
At this time, we will recess this meeting and everybody is welcome to join us around the rotunda as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. We will resume this meeting at 10:15 and we will start with this discussion. Thank you.
Tyler Lanning from the Surveyor's Office. My only thing about this was I think the representation by the department heads here today is just indicative of the lack of communication that occurred for it. We have a lot of questions. Nobody really asked our opinion on implementing this. It would have been nice to be involved there. I think the role of elected officials is to work in conjunction with one another, and this just didn't feel like there was anything working along with each other. It was more so being told this is how it's going to happen. I have a little bit of an issue with. I have no intentions of using a time clock for my employees. I would love to use a software where we could input our timekeeping, such as we were doing it. I don't want anybody doing it with paper, pencil, or calculator. I want that to be as smooth a process as it can be. So I still don't know. I guess I haven't had a chance to ask the question. If that system can be used to where we can input our time just as we were, and it gets processed through and paid out accordingly, that seems like it would be the easiest solution. As far as implementing a time clock, I know there was talk about you don't have to use a time clock, but then ultimately it sounded like you did. Using phones or computers. At that point, you start to interrupt the operation of an office. And I think that is ultimately for the elected official to determine how they want to run their office. And it's a culture that I don't really want to implement in our office. I think that the surveyor's office has been making leaps and bounds in the right direction. Our employees are all happy to be working there. They enjoy coming to work and they enjoy being productive for the county. So I intend to keep that moving in the right direction. So reviewing that, let's have some productive conversation, I think, with the department heads, whether that's us with all the commissioners or whoever's making the decisions on this. Let's do what's best, obviously, for payroll, and let's make that as easy as we can and efficient as we can, but also just to retain control of our offices and how we're operating and ensuring that there's no extended oversight from one elected official or another. And even if the intentions are now, everybody has good intentions, and I enjoy working with all of you, so I don't question that. It's a matter of in the future of what happens. There's been plenty of documented cases. Somebody new gets elected in, and then they want to have some overreach of another office, and it can lead to issues down the road. So just as long as we're being cognizant of that and going in the right place. So thank you guys, and I look forward to more conversations about it.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public?
Morning, guys. The timekeeping thing, I don't know what the goal is to achieve on it. I don't really know. I haven't really elaborated with the auditor on it. I know it was sent out. There's some videos sent out. I looked through it. There's such a wide range of videos. I kind of looked and I really didn't know which one to watch. During the meeting we had the other day online, I followed through some of it, but it's so long I had to get, there's some comments made. We will clock in and out for lunch and all that, which I get that, but the highway department, that won't work so well. You know, we go out on the road, we close the road, we start a project, then we're there to close that, or open that back up, load all back up, drive back to the shop, clock out for lunch, eat your lunch, clock in, drive back out. We're likely to kill 2.5 hours a day doing that. So the guys right now, they eat on the go, they eat in their trucks. Some do come back. Most generally, we eat out on the road. So, there's just a lot of questions, a lot of things that we'll have to work through and be discussed, figure out how we're going to do it, what's going to be done. Because if we're going to go in and amend their time, really what's the reason, So anyway, just a lot of questions. And if you want to be, what do I want to say, all electronic, I mean, I got what we do. I can scan it. I just always brought the copies up. I thought they wanted it. That'd also be nice to have something that would integrate with what we have to track, because we got to track a lot for our annual operations report, our restricted, our unrestricted funds, our hours, our materials. So I just want to make sure that we're not going to add a lot of work with what we do, or repetitive work with our offices, just because we got a lot more tracking than what most people probably don't already with our times and miles and fuel and material. So, but whatever we can come up with, if it needs to change, we'll change. If not, if they want electronic, we'll scan what we got and send up, or whatever, but it's just a lot to absorb, a lot of departments, a lot of questions, and the thing that concerns me is payrolls due the same time by every department every week. So if everybody has problems, somebody's gonna be overwhelmed with trying to help, and I don't think nobody wants that, you know, so, that, and you don't wanna mess up salaries or pay, and upset the people real quick. So, but anyway, whatever I can do to help, let me know. But just a little input where I was, just some things I thought of and thought would be some issues with the highway department. And, just FYI, we got a bid opening at 10:30.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
So this all has been discussed for over 6 years with the council. I have to implement a system with the council wanting this to be done. They want it to be on one timekeeping system, not multiple. There are many other counties, including their court systems, that use this system. It works with and talks with Lao. Very good. The implementation timing is needed because there are 2 departments that currently have Right Stuff, and it was voted on here that Andrew could send out the cancellation notices to that company for those departments. So those departments will no longer have Right Stuff after a few months here in the year. The company wanted to do the easier departments first to make sure that the basics were all laid down and everything was working well before adding in some of the more difficult departments. So the initial tier is just the 8 to 4 or 8:30, whatever, just the easy 8 to 5 offices. The 6-minute rounding has a lot to do with, say, central dispatch or sheriff or community corrections that have some in their own departments requirements for certain people to be there ahead of time. That would be the elected official and department heads' decision on how they want their people to work. If they want their people to be here at 8 o'clock, then they come at 8 o'clock, and if they're late, then that would be the elected official department head's decision on whether they're gonna write them up because they're late. Each office is going to have to still be responsible for their own employees and whether they have a problem with people coming in late or leaving early or whatnot. The inputting of time there's capabilities of being able to make adjustments if needed. The whole reasoning behind council wanting a timekeeping system for everybody is to keep everybody accountable. So if you want to be able to just go in there and say, I work 7 hours, that's not gonna be any different than what you're doing on a piece of paper. We've had a manager supervisor training, not an employee training, manager supervisor training on Thursday. They also had said that we can set up another one and we could do a question and answer session. I have sent out multiple communications on what questions you have on, the other one was on whether you wanted a time clock or not. Not everybody's gonna need a time clock because that's very expensive. So I have the time clocks for the departments that will need it. I've never received an email back with any type of question from anybody to even get answers for. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say because I've provided the information as I have been able to. There are some specific questions that will come into play as we are able to use it, which is why we are able to play around in it so we can see what things do, see what questions are going to come up, and be able to get those answers. As people go live on it, for a little bit, they're still going to do their paper also to make sure that everything is reporting correctly, just for verification. I don't know.
Is it possible to have somebody from that company physically to work with, looks like every department, to work those bugs out?
I can find out.
Okay.
It would have been appreciative had somebody at least responded to the email that I sent that included the specialists so that they could reply to everybody with the specialists with questions.
Well, from my perspective, it seems like
So I can ask.
the council should be more involved since they're the ones that initiated it. But on the same token, we know what the issues are, so to solve the issues, from my perspective, if we have somebody that can physically come, if they want to do business with the county, so that the different departments that have the different issues can be worked through, that I would hope that would alleviate a lot of the issues that are presented this morning. Any other commissioner have any comments, suggestions?
I guess my comment or question is about the requirements of the requirements in the clocking in and clocking out and the 6 minutes and everything. Who has the authority to set those parameters? And it was always my understanding that would be under the commissioner's authority and that would be in the handbook. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know why any department head would unilaterally have the authority to set rules that all the other departments would have to follow. I think that needs to come from the commissioners.
I have not set rules. I have set the system as we currently are. In a timekeeping system, there is always a rounding mechanism. You can round to 15 minutes, you can round to 6 minutes. So it would not be wise to round to 15 minutes because then your budgets could be blown out of the water halfway through the year. So the 6 minute rounding is the least amount of rounding that is available. And like I said, if I don't want my employees walking in here before 8:30, clocking in right at 8:30, then that's what I have to make clear to them. But if your employee is here, generally, my employees are here a little bit before it's time to open so that we can have everything pulled up, computers ready, and ready to roll at 8:30 when a patron walks in the door. If they're here doing that, they need paid for it. So if they're here at 8:25, they should be getting paid from 8:25 till they walk out the door at 4:35. Currently, people are just writing 7 hours. Just as if they come at 8:30 and they decide to walk out the door at 4:20, they're still putting 7 hours.
Really? Not my clock.
I think.
Well,
What,
another reason for a system.
I think what I'm seeing is that the time program and the rounding to 6 minutes doesn't change an individual elected official's decision to have their employees show up at 8:30 and leave at 4:30 or what have you. It doesn't change that, it's just how it's recorded in the system, I guess.
Is there,
If they come 1 minute early, I think it still shows that they show up at 8:30.
is there a code that specifies that we have to round to 6 minutes?
I don't know of any code. It sounds like it's just the nature of any timekeeping program that you have to round to some number.
I'd like to see the law. I'd like to see the law that requires that.
Yeah, yeah, I know that the law requires people to be paid for all the work that they do. That much I know, yeah.
Commissioner, do you have anything?
I'll let Tyler talk.
I guess my question is, Susan, are you saying then that we won't be able to just enter our times? Like, the punching one way or another will be mandatory to use the system?
I guess I will answer that it should be, so that everybody is held accountable. If you're just going to go in and manipulate the hours, then that's your decision, but it's not
Right. I guess,
any accountability, and it's not actually giving a true reading of what an employee is actually doing and working.
who makes that decision then, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Like, if we're gonna be allowed to enter that or not, where's that decision being made at? Who has that control or power? The elected official running the office, or does it come from the commissioners or from the auditors or from?
I will have to look that up. I would assume that
Okay.
the council
I would assume the
and, or commissioners, the council is who's pushing this. I would assume that they would be the final say
they're in
on
charge
it.
of all finances. At the end of the day, they're the ones in charge of the finances, so if they want to have a recording of people coming and going and what they're paying for, I'd assume it's coming from them.
It seems like we got the horse in front of behind the cart here, because my understanding was the executive writes up all the ordinance, the resolutions. Council is brought on board to approve or disapprove that if there's monetary requirements in those situations. So I'm still going to go back to, why is it the commissioners? Why does the council have the authority to do what the executive should have done?
The commissioners approved the agreements. The agreements and contracts were all brought to the commissioners, and they were all approved.
Is that the one from a
With
couple months
with
ago?
what recommendations from IT?
IT didn't recommend anything. It was a contract that was brought to you guys from me, from the council, for you guys to approve as they were funding it. There was no discussion on, you guys didn't ask anything about IT, you didn't ask if they were coming, you didn't ask anything about that.
I'm asking why they weren't included to begin with.
They were included. IT has been included with this from the beginning. I will have to get back with you on that.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, my other thing is, I know that those contracts were approved a couple months ago in that commissioner meeting. And the 6 years was brought up about knowing about this. Our office was not, nobody worked here 6 years ago when that discussion started. So I've been here for 2 years, and I think I could list off a lot of things our office has done well and we've improved on. But I was never a part of any discussions about this time clock. And then when that was brought up and approved in that commissioner meeting a couple months ago, that was not on the agenda. It was brought up as an additional item. I think communication should have occurred beforehand. Let's get our opinions on that. It's just something I would have valued to be a part of, I think, just to make sure we're going in the right direction as a county. Again, it's not a contentious item. I don't want it to be contentious. I want to do what's best for the county. Why is that?
I will take all of this very personally because I have to implement it and make it happen for the county.
Personally, that I'm here asking these questions?
No.
I don't, as I say, I hope it's nothing personal. It's just the way that I intend to run our office. Again, I already said earlier, I don't want to use time clocks in our office.
You're not getting one.
Good. Well, phone or computer, right? I didn't request one because I have no intention of using a punch clock, but whether we're logging in on our phone or a computer, I don't want to do any of that. We will input our time, and that's what we'll go off of. There you are. I just wanted to ask some questions, clear up. So I still don't know if that's going to be allowed to input our time, but maybe next discussion. Figure it out.
Okay, Thank you.
Which departments were gonna go first? You said there was a tier layer to, like, some departments are gonna go first, and which ones are going first? Do we know?
All the 8 to 5 ones,
All the 8 to 5. Okay.
not the courts. So I have the community corrections, the highway, maybe health department. They might be in tier 3. Tier 2 is central dispatch because we needed to move them up because their right stuff agreement will be ending. And the judicial offices, like the courts and probation and prosecutor.
What else is tier 1?
Okay, thank you for everyone for your comments. We'll probably have this on the agenda in the future. So at this time, we're supposed to have Michelle at 10:15. I patiently can you have more patience? Thank you very much, because we need to have our 10:30 highway bid openings. Thank you, Michelle.
I got one, buddy.
Okay.
Look at that. I come prepared. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Well, it being 10:36, I'll move forward. We had bids due today for the Community Crossings Matching Grant to be opened at 10:30. So I will open these. You ready, Susan?
Sure.
I have one from DC Construction Services. I have a bid of $1,667,273.50. 1667, 273.50. Get it? Next one I have is from Brooks Construction. The $1,113,742.
Even?
Yep. 1,113,742.00. You see that over there?
That's for sure.
Evidently, the higher the money is, the lower the numbers. Have one from Pulver Asphalt Paving. Pulver, Pulver. Have a bid of $1,245,176.30. 1,245,176.30. Have another bid from E&B Paving. Excuse me. $1,250,027.79. So 1,250,027.79.
That's from who?
E&B Paving.
Okay, thank you.
Have one from API Construction. $1,134,700. 1,134,700.00. Yes, so I would ask for a motion for me to take these under advisement until the,
4th,
yes,
next one?
the next
February-
meeting.
February 4th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table the bids until the next meeting so that they can, Ben can go through them to make sure they've met all the requirements as presented. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Great.
It's actually February 2nd.
Is it second?
Groundhog Day.
Hope he's good to us.
So would you like to be on
Yes, I'll have to be,
at a certain time? Or
it doesn't matter.
first thing in the morning under our old business section?
It don't matter to me. Just sometime that day, whatever works.
Are you able to be here at like 8:30? I'll put it there then.
Yep. And then I have a advertisement for bid for the new grade all that we're going out to look for. Sent this out to Andrew for approval and sent to all three of you and Susan. If you guys are okay with that, I have that set for bids to be due here on February 16th by 10 a.m. So I'll need to be here that day as well, Susan. Just a heads up. So if you guys are okay with that, I have the bids here for all three commissioners to sign.
Andrew, do we need an actual motion for that? I mean, all we're doing is advertising for the bids.
I think it doesn't hurt to have a motion.
It's got your signatures on it, I would.
Yeah, then you should do a motion.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second to advertise for bids for the grade all. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0.
Who motioned that?
Bill did.
The old grade all, Ben, does that have any value? Would you, that go as a trade or you sell it?
I'll probably just put it on Gov Deals.
Deal.
Yeah, because there's so much discrepancy when you try to trade that, the values and stuff. It's just, I think we'll do better selling it on our own end.
I agree.
Anything else, sir?
Nope, just, you guys got plenty going on already, so that's all I really had to, for business.
Okay,
Unless you guys had something else for me.
gentlemen.
Could warm it up a little bit.
I agree. Hey, I do have one item I'm just gonna give you an FYI on. I'm working on this morning. Made me think of, as I seen the covered bridge. The bridge roof is complete now. The awnings on the north and south sides are complete. They look fantastic. If you get a chance, I'd encourage you to take a look at it. There was a little bit of, I was off 119 square feet on the roof total from when I scaled it off on GIS. I didn't get up there and measure that. So we're gonna be over on that $2,500 on the roof due to the extra underlayment and then some extra metal roofing. So I wanted to let you know that, because the square footage, I had it at 4,042, and it was actually 4,161. So, and that probably come with some, he said also with the cutting and the waste, also made a difference. So that was where the square footage is. So just to let you know, it's complete, and we are gonna be over a little bit. I believe I got that coverage in my budget, but just an FYI for you. But, I've gotten some feedback on it from residents in that area, and everybody that's reached out so far has been extremely tickled with the look of the bridge.
Very good. Anything else, sir?
That's all I have.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you, guys. If you need something, let me know.
Appreciate it. Well, as was already asked, warm it up.
I know it. I know it. Our trucks has not been liking the cold and stuff. We've had quite a few issues the last few days, so it can warm up.
Yes.
On the 16th, is it 10:30 or?
I believe so. Let me look and confirm real quick, Susan.
I got it right.
I think they was due by 10
Yeah.
and then opening at 10:30. I want to just verify. Yes, they're due by 10 and then opening at 10:30. So if you want to put me on at 10:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
Michelle, I sincerely apologize, and I appreciate your patience.
No problem. I'm just here today for your permission to file our annual grant for juvenile programs. So that would be the majority of the grant for Change Academy and $2,000 for electronic monitoring for juveniles. Same thing that we've done in years past. We were told by the DOC that for juvenile programs, you can only ask for the same amount that you've asked for in the past, which is what they've told us the last couple of years. So that is what we have done. On the attachments, so I sent you the narrative of the budget or the grant in case you've never seen it, as well as a copy of the budget. Obviously, we're making some guesses, really early guesses on increases to medical insurance and things like that that we put on the budget. But what we're looking at is the only thing we're changing is trying to make sure that we do leave room for employees to receive an increase in wages in January of '27 because this is a fiscal year grant. And so that does increase a couple of the categories a little bit, including the juvenile ordinance, which is the money that the schools pay to be part of the program. That's going to be increasing by $1,312. And then obviously there would be the raises in county general, but like I said, those are guesses because we have no idea at this point what would happen with medical insurance and other benefits. So, any questions? Okay.
We'll probably need a motion to, yes. So I would accept a motion to allow Michelle to move forward with the grant.
To submit her grant. To submit her grant.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to allow Michelle to move forward. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Yes.
Second thing I had was our advisory board chair, Mr. Likes, was able to locate a third person to fill that third layperson role on our advisory board. His name is Austin Macy, and he is currently the career coach at the Cruise Education Center. He was contacted, and he did indicate he was willing to serve as a layperson on our board.
It was Austin Macy?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the appointment as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Michelle, do you happen to know what that term is for Austin? Like, is it just a year or?
It's a 4-year.
Okay, and is he replacing somebody?
He is, I had sent an email with names of people being removed.
Okay.
There were 3.
So he will have to complete whatever term there was that needed finished, and then they'll have to reappoint for a full 4-year.
Do you want me to send you details in an email?
I probably have them somewhere. I was just, if you had them with you. That's
I'm not
fine.
sure I gave you the original end dates, so I'll send you an email.
Thank you.
Thank you. O'clock yet. Does any commissioner have any item of business to come before this board? No.
Do not.
Mr. Cruz, do you have anything?
I think that the only thing I had was going to be, besides the Sunny Meadow insurance, was going to be the title insurance for Sunny Meadows. I think, I just wanted to clarify with all of you that the title search that was needed was for the phase one, right?
Yep.
I think, if I'm understanding it. So are they waiting, so I checked up on the cost of that. The local title company that I usually reach out to is Auburn Abstract. They have been bought out by another title company, Meridian Title. There are, so we've got one quote and it's a little bit higher than I thought it would be. I think it was somewhere around, I'd have to look at it again, but maybe $650 or something. So it's not gonna be cheap, and I wanted to have that discussed before we would go ahead and do that. But it sounds like it's something we need. They wanted to do like 100-year, but the county has owned the thing for 100 years, I'm sure, more than 100 years.
We built it in 1908.
But we need to have an answer for the phase one, and we probably owned it, well, yeah, it's more than 100 years because it's 1908. I guess I would say if it's necessary for the phase one, then you can authorize me to do it and we'll get it done, unless I could maybe check with one other title insurance company and see if they had it for a lower price or something. But Auburn Abstract's always been good in my experience.
I mean, it's very specific. Did a search of recorded land title records or judicial records where appropriate, identify any AULs such as engineering controls, land use restrictions, or institutional controls that are in place at the property and/or have been filed or recorded against the property under federal, tribal, state, or local law.
They basically just want an intensive search of all the records, which is what a title search should do for us, so. I think we got to do it then, so, okay.
A simple yes or no, and I could answer it, but.
Yes, that's not a simple yes or no.
I don't
That's a
want to do it
needed title
without
search
that
on that.
search. Yes.
I got one thing. There was a question about a fuel tank out there.
Oh, I just had that question just because I was wondering if there ever had been, because those are the sorts of things that they ask you in a phase one typically, I think, you know, was there a fuel tank? Was there a gas station there in the past?
Fuel tank across the street.
Across the road, there's
I
a
don't
fuel tank.
Right.
Yeah, so that doesn't matter because we're dealing with just this problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that. That
Good.
wasn't a-
That we know of.
Right.
That-
Yeah,
Right,
there's-
there was never a gas pump at the,
No, I don't
Not
think
that
so.
I know of.
my grandpa Russell had a gas pump at their house for his high school kids. But as far as we know, there wasn't one in Center.
Looking at the pictures, there's no sign of any gas pump or fuel tanks out there on
Okay.
that side.
So if you guys are okay with that, I'll go ahead and, I mean, I could maybe just do a motion, yes, on title insurance, and if you don't mind doing a vote on it, since.
So moved.
Okay.
Second,
Okay, do you want to clarify if you are going forward with the current quote, if you want him to get another quote, if there's a
Yeah.
maximum?
I'm fine using abstract.
Okay. For a title
Under,
search.
under Andrew Cruz's recommendation.
a second.
Okay. We have an amended motion. Is there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, I will go ahead and get the title search.
And I do not have a copy of this, Andrew, but I will hand it to you so
Yes.
you can see. And I would redo it. I mean, I won't submit it with
Right, okay,
my handwritten, but you can review it and.
okay, I will do that too.
So title search and title insurance are the same thing?
No, they're different, sorry. I think I maybe said insurance at one point, 'cause, so
So it's a
this is just
title
a search.
search,
We don't need insurance on it, we just need the search, yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay, good. Okay.
And I'll review your questionnaire and then,
Sure.
yeah. And I'll email all of you commissioners maybe with a copy of it and what my thoughts are on it.
Is there any other item of business from the commissioners? And Andrew, you're good?
Yes.
Susan, do you have anything?
The only thing I had is, Kellen had emailed all of you about the Sunny Meadows vans. I didn't know if you wanted to, if you are ready to do an actual motion to change the departments, or if you weren't ready to do that yet.
I'm fine.
Yep. I'm okay. The bigger one.
Sheriff wants the bigger one.
Yeah,
We take the bigger
I
one.
don't know what model maker, you know.
Well, and if it's okay with you gentlemen, I think for right now, we can just do the larger van, because there may be another department that has spoken, but they don't know yet on the minivan. So I guess, I don't want to, I guess the question, when do you need to know for the sale bill?
I was just putting it out there when I had a conversation. It was the last few of the punch list of my thing, so.
You know when you have to have, if it's going to go on on that sale bill for Sunny Meadows?
The small van,
Huh?
the small van.
The auction's been put on hold for now. Marcus, so whenever the committee decides to go forward with it.
Oh, okay, so
Oh, that's really the committee at that point.
Marcus is on hold then?
Marcus is on hold, and so
Okay.
is the photographer. They're waiting to see the committee. I told them that the committee would come together, and then they'd have a conversation with them.
Okay.
This was one of the last few.
Well,
I had a conversation with Brady before we had the committee. He said that he'd be interested in it, so I just passed that information on to you guys.
Yeah. So at this point, I guess I'm asking for a motion to transfer the larger van from, what would it be, from Sunny Meadows to Sheriff's Department?
I'll make that motion.
I would second.
We have a motion and a second to do the transfer of the larger van from Sunny Meadows to the Sheriff's Department. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anyone in the audience that has an item for discussion?
My phone is blowing up with questions, just a confirmation or a decision. Will department heads be hearing from Susan? Are we moving ahead as we have been, or are we taking a pause on the timekeeping system?
When were you gonna start? When was it gonna start?
The first tier, everybody can get in it now. The first tier was going live next week.
Well, I don't like pushing something off to somebody else, but it just seems like the council should be involved in this since they started it, or am I seeing it wrong?
Makes sense.
You sort of have overlapping responsibilities. Susan, as the auditor, implementing this, you're the county commissioners, so you sort of handle employee matters, obviously, overall. But if the council, they're also handling the finances, so there's the way the state law has set this up, there's sort of overlapping and sometimes conflicting responsibilities.
Could we have a mutual meeting next week? Have a combined meeting of the commissioners and the council? If they'd have to agree to it, but is there something we could do? That way we can, is that allowed, or do we have to be separate? I don't know how that works. Because I don't want to not make a decision today and then it just is there and no decisions moving forward for either Susan or any other department head not knowing what's going to happen here.
Does the council have a liaison with the commissioners? Like you guys have a liaison with the counselor?
Rick Ring.
Rick Ring. So perhaps you could just start out by asking Rick Ring or something.
I feel like I'd be more appropriate to have the whole council's decision on it, because if we push it out, or if we decide on the 6 minutes, 10 minutes, like Susan said, it'll change the budgets and all that kind of stuff, and it really should be coming from both bodies, should be the one helping make this decision and not pushing it onto one person.
Because it could have a budget impact, is what
You're
you're saying.
gonna have a budget impact, there needs to be a group, and that way we can figure something out here. and not just leave people out there hanging.
Right.
I believe that's what, the 11th is their meeting? Second Wednesday?
Well, we'll have to do a special meeting, have to do another meeting next week, and see if the council can call a meeting too, and do something like that, so. I can't promise them, but.
Right, you guys can't set up a meeting for the council to be a part of. You can suggest it and request it, but you can't force them
Have
to
a
come to
conversation with them
meeting.
to see if they're willing to meet next week sometime. And that way, before it goes live, work out any details and stuff like that.
Well, I can get hold of Rick and
Have them reach out to them, yeah.
Or Dave?
What?
Or Dave, as far as a
or
special
Dave,
meeting?
either one. Yeah, or both. I will reach out yet today. And see if we can't get something set up. Anything else from public?
Are you gonna try and set it up later this week, or, because
Well,
it's going live Monday?
it's what?
It goes live on
This Monday, I thought.
the 26th. It goes live next Monday.
I have to have that discussion with the two of them first. I mean, I'm not going to speak for them.
Okay, just a second. Bring, Rick is gonna join on.
Yeah, we have the one other item on the agenda, the Board of Finance.
Is up to Joni.
He can wait.
It won't.
I appreciate your patience. Thank you.
Last year.
Okay, I guess it's to me to open this meeting of the 2026, January 20, Board of Finance meeting. Prior year minutes approved, or do we need to reorganize? Probably reorganize?
You mean as far as with new officers and so forth, probably would be a good idea, yes.
Yep. So motion to nominate a president.
Nominate Jim.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for the president of the Board of Finance. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, 3-0.
You got the gavel, go for it. It's pretty,
Approval of the prior year minutes.
Do we need to vote on vice president and,
Well, I was looking at the,
Oh,
nobody's listed, so I don't know. Yeah, it's on the,
in the
Help
prior minutes?
treasurer.
Yes.
pardon me?
I think you have to vote on vice president and also having Joni be the secretary for the board. That's what I see from last year's.
Yes.
Make the motion to make Joni the board secretary?
Second,
Motion is second to accept Tony as the secretary for the County Board of Finance. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0.
And then vice president if you haven't done that.
We do 2 vice presidents?
I see one
We've-
last year.
The year before that, we had 2 vice presidents.
So you could do 2?
Yeah.
Just like you do.
Nomination myself and Bill be vice president?
second,
We have a motion and a second to accept Kellen Dooley and William Hartman as vice presidents of the Board of Finance. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. And then county attorney, I presume need to do that one too?
I don't think so. I think I'm just there by virtue of being county attorney, and Susan's just there by virtue of being county auditor, I believe.
Okay,
That's correct.
then we'll back up and we still need prior year minutes approved.
There are 2 sets, because we had our Board of Finance meeting in January, and then we met again in July to talk about long-term investments, so there were 2 sets of minutes to approve.
We could do them both at once if you wish.
And I did email those over to you right after the meeting, and I think you all approved them, roughly in the email at that time.
Make a motion to accept the July 25th and January 25th minutes.
I will second.
Motion and a second to accept the prior year minutes as presented. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then election of officers, review of current investment policy.
So on the investment policy, we didn't have any changes this year. I sent it over to Andrew to ask him because page 2 does list Sandy as the first deputy on there, and as you know, Sandy retired. This is Heather Haynes. She is in training to be my new first deputy. She has not been pushed into that position just yet, so we didn't put her name on here. Underneath there, it does say this policy allows the successor of any of these individuals to serve in this capacity. So Andrew felt like
Approved leaving that the same.
leaving it, so no change to the investment policy.
And it just says, I think.
That we
the
just
rule
have to
is that
review
You just
it.
have to review it, not that you have to reapprove it. So,
We,
Want to review it?
Hmm?
We need to make a motion that we reviewed it.
You can if you want to. I mean, you're doing it here live, but yes, I mean, it can't hurt to do a motion to say, hey, it's reviewed and approved for another year. Probably would be good to get that in.
pleasure, gentlemen.
Make the motion to, have we reviewed a statement of investment policy?
For a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to admit that we looked at the finances as presented. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Oh, get back on. 2-year-old outstanding checks to be receipted back into fund.
Yes, so every year, any checks that are 2 years old or older, I have to bring before the Board of Finance, so those can be receipted back into the fund. This year, we've got quite a long list of them. They're all smaller dollar amounts. Most of them were like jury pay, where they did not cash the checks. That was the largest majority of them, but it totaled $1,669.02. And those were all either out of County General or Fund 1122.
We'd probably need a motion.
Back into the general, all of it.
They go back into the fund they came out of, so it'll either go County General or the Fund 1122.
I'd make the motion that the non-cash checks be returned to the accounts they come out of.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the treasurer's report as presented. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. 2025 cash and investment report review.
Okay, so if you look at the page, it's got red across the top that says total cash and depositories and investments as of 12/31. It shows between our bank accounts and our investments, we had a total of $70,830,241.43. Then I broke it down how much was in, it's listed as cash and depositories, so that's within our bank accounts as checking, savings. We use Trust Indiana, which is like a government savings. They pool all state and government entities that put money in there. That way they can get a much higher yield. So for example, Trust Indiana, we get around 3.65%, where our normal bank account locally, we get about 1.93%. So it's a big difference. So cash and depositories, that checking savings essentially, is $36,330,241.43. And then in investments, we have $34.5 million invested in CDs. And those range from the next 3.5 years, those will mature. They're laddered over the next 3.5 years. So in 2025, we earned $497,261.99 in interest off of our CDs. In 2026, we have 17 CDs that mature, and we're projected to earn $1.4 million in interest on those CDs.
That's for 2026.
That's for 2026, yes. And those mature, what's that, I'm sorry?
What's that number again?
Ellen, it's right here.
1.4 million.
Oh, it's the next page, okay.
Yeah, there's some information on the next page.
Okay,
there
thank
that's
you.
got
I
it.
was like, I'm not seeing this. Okay, thank you.
I was just highlighting some of the details on it. So those CDs, like I said, there's 17 that will mature in 2026. Those are all throughout the year. Starting in February, we have some in May, June, August, November, so we've laddered them throughout the year. Not all of those will be reinvested. Some of them we just did for a year, 18 months, 24 months. That is where I will, before they mature, I will reach out to the auditor to see what the cash flow needs are for that specific fund that's invested, to see if we can reinvest it or if we need to just go ahead and cash it out and put that money back into that fund. So last year, I met with you guys in July, and then I had to go before council for the long-term investment policy. We ended up purchasing 4 CDs for 48 months. We had a lot of phone calls and meetings with different advisors and brokers to see about doing bonds. And it was determined that by the time we had a safekeeping account, you have to pay for that. So that brought down, it's so many basis points, so part of your interest. And what they were recommending was callable bonds. And so what happens is we purchase it at one rate and it's callable in 9 months. Then we have to repurchase it at whatever the current market rate is. So after looking at all of our options and having a lot of meetings about it, we determined we were just going to do local CDs here where we could lock in the guaranteed 3.4% for those 4 years. you know, I'm ultimately responsible for the investments, but it is a lot of work between the auditor and I just to verify what the cash flow needs are. I would never invest without verifying, you know, what money is coming in and out, what the needs are. Since she works directly with council commissioners, she knows what's coming down the pipeline. So that's what I have on there. I did want to mention, I heard from someone last year after we did the additional CDs that because we invested so much, the employees couldn't get as big of a raise. That has nothing to do with one another. The county has the same amount of money. It's just a matter of where it's held, if it's held in a bank account or if it's held in an investment. So I just wanted to clear that up. The next page there goes along with this. It's cash and depositories. It's a 5-year comparison, and it shows in 2022 what the balance was on January 1st, which was 49.6 million. Then in 2023, it was 57 million, and then you can see it's just increased every year on January 1st. And then I broke that out, how much was in virtually a checking or savings account versus how much was invested. And you can see in 2025 and in 2026, we've really increased those investments. So between 2025, we had 24.8 million invested, and for 2026, we have 34.5 million invested. So we've definitely tried to earn as much as we possibly can with that. The last page in your packet is a 15-year history of the annual interest. And so this will show you for 2025, the average interest rate was 4.21%. And so our total interest this year for 2025 that was generated was $2,473,183.85. So
That average annual, that's what we had, not the economy. It was just
it's the economy average.
that was the economy average?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And so if you look in 2024 and 2023, Sandy was able to earn some pretty high interest there, but the interest rates were about 1% higher. So interest rates have dropped, not quite 1%, and it makes a difference that we have more money in investments versus in the bank because we don't see the return on those investments until those CDs mature. That's why this year, for 2026, we're estimating 1.4 million in interest just from CDs alone. So that's what I had for you on that.
Entertain a motion to accept the interest comparison as presented.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the interest comparison as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. Board of Finance annual report approved. Would be everything that you've presented, correct?
Correct.
Would entertain a motion to accept the whole report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Board Finance annual report as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. Next meeting scheduled for January 2027.
We don't have the date for it yet. I just put it on there that we'll have one again next year.
Okay. Is there any other business come before the County Board of Finance? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 3-0.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Ladies, stay warm.
That's a good report. Very good report. Okay. Mr. Ring. Staying warm? No, my shovel froze to the ground.
You know, it snowed here a little bit a couple days ago, and this, you know, they have no snow shovels, no plows, no nothing, so kind of puts everybody at a standstill. Well, I just wanted to answer some of the questions that came up during the number one, this was a council issue priority that the council gave Susan when she first came into office over 5 years ago. She was given two priorities, and I was president of the council at the time. One, that she improved the timekeeping system that the county was using because everything was on paper. Secondly, that she would develop to get the system set up to where we could search both inside the courthouse and the general public, search all of the ordinances, resolutions, all of the county documents could be searched. She has been working on those two issues over the last 5.5 years. I think that the one is fairly well finished, and that is to we can finally search our ordinances and resolutions. That many other counties, many other cities have had that function for quite a few years. We're late to the game. The other one was the timekeeping system. We brought in a timekeeping system that was being used at what I remember by Kosciuszko County, and we installed that first in the community corrections and in central communications. And I think Susan could tell you, and I think those two department heads would tell you that it was troublesome. It really did not function well, and it had problems interfacing with LAO. And whatever system is chosen has to be something that functions with LAO. That's our county financial system. Now, it's my understanding right now that there are approximately 30 other counties on this system that are functioning. And I don't understand why it's not easy to move over to that system, although I can understand that there's been some lack of a communication that needs to be addressed. She's leaving the departments out of it that are going to be the difficult ones. Community corrections, central communications, the highway. I would not have added the surveyor to this, but the surveyor probably does have some special situations. They may not always go to the office first, because this system initially should only be on county equipment. It should not be on their personal equipment. You don't, and if it is on a cell phone, you want to have parameters so that they can't be sitting at McDonald's and check in. They have to be in the building or at their computer to do the check-in. Now, surveyor being that special case, they may go to a job site before they would come into the office. So there's going to have to be something worked out to where they can clock in, whether it's enter time in later with the approval of their supervisor or something. But all of those things have to be worked out. Unfortunately, Susan's under the issue of having these two other departments timekeeping system are going to go away here very shortly. We don't want to extend that contract. So that's why these other departments were put on first, because they should have been the easy ones. Dana brought up, the county clerk brought up some issues that need to be addressed, so maybe we limit the easy departments to the auditor's office and maybe the treasurer's office, somebody that's just very simple, that doesn't have a lot of nuances, because LAO wants to make sure that all the simple, easy functions work correctly. So, what I would suggest, and I had a conversation with Dottie yesterday, and I had a conversation with Susan yesterday, is that Susan work with Dottie and work out some type of a training schedule that's acceptable to everybody. Now, Susan might disagree with me at this point, but using just a couple of the simple departments and not all of them might be the best way. But we've got to get this worked out. Otherwise, at some point in the next couple months, the central communications and the community corrections are going to be doing things on paper by hand, because their system's gonna go away. Because you do not wanna have to re-sign that contract for, any length of time. But the bottom line is, whatever system is chosen has to be something that's acceptable to the auditor's department and to the financial system that the county uses. So that is the background on all of this. So, you know, don't pick on Susan. This was something that started back 4 or 5 years ago, with the council. The only time the council has addressed it since has been an annual question: where are we with this? Where are we with this? And now we know.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Do either of the commissioners have questions?
Give us that.
You know, the whole thing has to do with transparency and accountability. And that's what we want to be able to show to the general public. Being transparent and that we're accountable. And then the issue that Bill brought up, and it's a legitimate one, about the 6 minutes, 15 minutes, that is pretty much built into any electronic timekeeping system. Kellen should be familiar with that. We had that at the hospital for many years. Because if, you know, Andrew would get involved with this one. You get an employee that comes and checks in 5 minutes early every day. You pay that person that 5 minutes?
I think you have to.
Or do you have a policy? I mean, you want them at their desk and ready to go when their shift starts. But what if they clock in 15 minutes or a half an hour early? Are you gonna pay them for that?
I think you have to pay everybody for the time. Yeah.
That time?
I think you have to pay everybody for the time they're there, but make sure you have a rule that they're only working their stated hours. I mean, so if you don't want to start having to pay people an hour of overtime every week because they clock in early, because that's not a part of your budgets. But if they work and they're violating the guideline, I believe the law is you got to pay them.
Right. So that's a policy that should be established, and that should be established within the HR manual.
Sounds like maybe at least for the time being, just do the 2 departments next Tuesday. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Is that agreeable?
Which 2 departments?
Auditor and
treasurer.
Treasurer.
They're all in the background there. I'll have one of them volunteer.
The only ones left are recorder and treasurer.
Thank you.
Okay, I think is that acceptable with the commissioners then? Just start with 2 programs or 2 departments?
Sure.
Yes.
We'll accept that as a consensus from the commissioners. Just start with 2. Thank you, Rick. Greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jim. You all have a good day. Celebrate IU.
Amen. Anything else from commissioners? No. Andrew?
Nothing
Susan?
else.
No? Anyone from the public? Hearing no one, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We are adjourned.